Okay, folks, as you can see, this looks a little different. Today is our first day, really, of the semester where you guys are allowed to touch your calculator. We're going to jump into how the calculators work, what we're doing with them, and really making sure that we know how to use these as appropriate tools for what we're trying to do. So if you look at your notes, we'll come back to your notes. I'm going to have to do a bunch of jumping around this morning. First thing I just want to ask you is, what do you think about this? The question is, what is a line of best fit? Is it possible for any one of you to come up here and draw a line that goes through every single one of those points? Is it that one, or is it this one, or is it this one? I mean, which line is better? Is there any way to figure out which of those lines is the best one? By hand, we really can't do it. So that's why we're about to use our calculator today. The calculator uses the technology to find the very best equation to model these points as well as it possibly can. So I don't know whether that's going to be this line or something else, but it's going to find the equation that best models it, that fits it as closely as possible, way better than you or I could ever do by hand. So to do that, we need to follow 6 steps, and we've created our some 6 steps here for you to really follow, and a couple pictures of what the calculator screen is actually going to look like. But before we do anything else, the first thing you have to do is you have to turn on something called diagnostics. So please, 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 you have to turn stat diagnostics on. Okay. The reason why this is because when you take your EOC in June, you will have to turn this on. The very first thing you do when you get your calculators to turn on stat diagnostics. So I'm going to show you here in my calculator how to make that possible. First thing I'm going to press here is mode. So look at my mouse moving around here. I'm going to press this key that says mode. Pulls up this entire screen, and I'm actually going to create a large one for you here off to the right hand side so you can see what I'm doing. So you can see if we scroll all the way down, all right, to this one right here, all right, this one right here, Stack Diagnostics, the one that's blinking currently says off, and we want that to say on. So we're going to arrow over to the right, click enter down here at the bottom, and so now we're going to make sure now stat diagnostics is on. And you only have to do that one time unless you reset your calculator. So please don't reset your calculator anymore now that stat diagnostics is actually on. Okay? So that's a very important piece to get us going here at the beginning. So let's come back. What we're going to have today is we're going to be giving you a list of data in some x coordinates and some y coordinates, and you need to actually plug those in to your calculator. So the very first step, very first key we're going to press on our calculator is the key that says stat. Okay, so stat. So write that in, and then let's find that key on our calculator. That key right here on our calculator is right here in the kind of the middle, near the very middle of that calculator. It says STAT. Press pause, let everyone find that key right there. Press stat for me. So as you can see, when you press stat, you're getting this screen that you have on your notes off to the right-hand side. Okay? So you notice the first thing it says is let's edit your list. Let's see what let's actually put some numbers in. So if you would, our next thing that we're going to press is enter. Now we can press enter. The reason why we're pressing enter is because what we're really doing is we're selecting the edit option. That's our edit option. So on your calculators, go ahead and pull that back out. You're going to hit enter here at the very bottom right hand corner of your calculator. Hit enter. When you do that, notice what comes in. Okay, so we really want to set that up where we have edit. All right, so now we're actually going to enter the data itself. Okay, we're actually going to enter the data, and the way you enter your data is by just typing your numbers into L1 and L2. So if I pull my calculator back up here, I could plug in, maybe my x's are 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then maybe my y's on the other end are, let's just say, 10, 7, 5, and 2. Okay, so I've put in some x and y numbers. You can see them a little larger here. go ahead and enter those same numbers in your calculator for L1 and L2. Press pause and let that happen. All right. So now that we've got our data in, calculator, pull that calculator back up. Now that we've got our data in, guess what? We're going to press stat a second time. So I'm going to press stat a second time and fill that in. Stat another time. All right. And when you press stat a second time, what we're going to get, we don't want to enter our data anymore. We want to go over to that second tab or that second column, and we want to go over to calc. So I use my arrow key to go over to calc. So that's what this line is, calc. You want to go over to calc. And when you get there, you're going to see this screen right here on the right-hand side. You're going to see this screen. And there's only one thing we care about on this screen right now. And what we care about is our linear regression, line 4. I'm going to highlight it right here. So line 4 is the one that we want. So I'm going to go back to my calculator. I'm going to scroll down here to line 4. Notice it says lin reg. That's our linear regression. Hit enter. So that's what's going on this line right here. The L stands for lin reg. Okay, I would put a number 4 next to it just as a reminder. And then once you've got that on your screen, all you have to do now is go down to the word that says calculate and hit enter. And here's our line of regression. So our line of regression is actually going to end up being y equals negative 2.6x plus 12.5. So this gives us the best equation of the line to fit our data. So that's the main component of what I wanted to share with you there, is really how to use the calculator. This is so important. So rewatch this video and redo our steps if necessary. Get very, very comfortable with them. Best of luck.